Bruce Friedman of Adult Site Broker, and welcome to Adult Site Broker Talk, where each week we interview one of the movers and shakers of the adult industry, and we give you a tip on buying and selling websites. This week we'll be speaking with Leya Tanit of Pineapple Support. Adult Site Broker is proud to announce the launch of our new website at adultsitebroker.com. We've added some enhancements to the site, such as FAQs and a complete new platform. The look and feel of the new site are nice and up to date. The new site also has links to our marketplace and affiliate program. Plus, don't forget ASB Marketplace, the first platform where you can buy and sell adult sites and domains for free. ASB Marketplace allows buyers and sellers a chance to come together on properties that are valued below our company's minimum of $50,000. Don't pay for other marketplaces when ASB Marketplace gives you this service for free. Visit asbmarketplace.com and sign up as a seller or a buyer today. And of course, there's ASB Cash, the first affiliate program for an adult website brokerage where you can earn as much as 20% of our broker commission referring sellers and buyers to us at Adult Site Broker. Check out asbcash.com for more details and to sign up. Now let's feature our property of the week that's for sale at Adult Site Broker. We're proud to offer for sale a portfolio of 8 Amazon FBA adult beauty stores. These brands have enjoyed steady growth over their 8 years in business, with many products commanding a dominant market share in their vertical, with combined revenues of $3.4 million in 2021 and an impressive 15,000 plus customer reviews. Setting itself apart with its distinctive product style and branding, the business's winning product formula and launch strategy has been multiplied across different customer types to greatly increase market share and expand the business over time. The brands now number over 80 listings, including bundles, and they include lightening creams, lubricants, sexual aids, and other personal care items for adult intimacy. The products, which have formulas exclusive to the owner, have proven hugely profitable over time, with the business enjoying massive gross margins of almost 40% with absolutely no advertising spend outside of Amazon. Included are standard operating procedures for all activities related to Amazon selling, meaning the buyer is getting the intellectual property rights they would not be able to find elsewhere. The business has massive growth opportunities, especially by marketing outside of Amazon in the e-commerce and brick-and-mortar spaces, as the current owners have not done much to promote the websites and have not sought a retail distributor. The business can be run from anywhere, and it can be run by outsourced firms at a very low operating cost. The business also enjoys strong diversification of revenues across its major product lines, brands, and keywords, giving it stable growth over time. The business is run in a highly effective, hands-off way, with day-to-day operations managed by a team of outsourced personnel, with the owner working only about 30 hours per week. The reason for the sale is the owners have been in the category for a long time and now wish to divest to turn attention to newer verticals they've already moved into. This incredible company is now only $5 million. Now time for this week's interview. My guest today on Adult Site Broker Talk is Leya Tanit of Pineapple Support. Leya, thanks for being back with us on Adult Site Broker Talk.
You are very welcome. It's an absolute pleasure, Bruce.
The pleasure is mine. Now, Leya was born in the UK, and she's been involved in the adult industry for almost 20 years. She's the founder and president of Pineapple Support, a nonprofit organization that provides free and subsidized mental health care and emotional support for all persons working in the adult industry. And I will say we are proud to be a sponsor. She started the organization because of a rash of suicides in our industry. She's now part of a radio show, or as we like to call them, podcasts, with one of her therapists, Shelley, who we haven't been able to get on, unfortunately. It's called Pineapple Talk and is sponsored by the fine people at Cam4. The first radio show was 3 years ago. They're always looking for guests and topics they're passionate about discussing. They even talk to me. Pineapple Support has grown to almost 200 therapists and helped over 2,000 industry professionals, which I think is just amazing. And I don't have to tell you the regard I hold for what you do over there and how wonderful I think the whole endeavor is. So, Leya, please tell everyone what services Pineapple Support provides.
That was some fantastic research that you've done there. I'm very impressed.
Oh yeah, it took me hours.
It's professional. I like it.
I endeavor to be that. Yes.
So we've really expanded our resources over the last kind of 12 to 18 months due to need since the outbreak of COVID. So we have the 24/7 emotional support service, which is kind of your first go-to if you want to speak to somebody immediately. The person to be connected with is not a therapist. They are trained volunteers, and the communication is done via text. So it's if you're feeling alone or you want to get something off your chest and have an impartial ear to speak to, then that's the place for you. It's run on a website called 7 Cup, so it actually takes you away from the Pineapple Support platform. But it's been working really well, and it's getting more and more popular, which is fantastic.
Great.
I think the resource that we're most known for is the one-on-one therapy. As you mentioned, we've got almost 200 therapists now. They are across 5 continents, speaking 18 languages between them, which is pretty impressive. But
that's amazing.
It is. It's so wonderful to be able to offer such a diverse selection of therapists, because you know we have a diverse selection of people coming for support. So we need to be able to match that. And so that is that's a pay what you can. So when you apply for therapy, you let us know what you can contribute towards each session, and that goes directly to the therapist, and then we cover the rest, basically.
That's awesome.
And then on top of that, we have support groups. Every month, we have a different topical support group that runs for 6 weeks. We have 3 drop-in support groups that run consistently throughout the year, on a Monday for all performers, on a Wednesday for the BIPOC community, and the first Thursday of every month for men. And the support groups are completely free. You can drop in and out. They're commitment-free. It's a really great way to create and establish community within the industry, which is why we really upped our game on those during COVID. Because it's, with everyone being stuck at home, it was a really nice way to enable people to connect.
Right.
And then we do webinars every month. We do workshops. We do events. So we did a happiness event. We've done healing through kink. We've done a 2-day event on relationships. And these are all sponsored events. So if anyone wants to get involved in something like that, you can drop me an email, and we can work out a plan.
Fabulous.
And in person at the shows, we have therapists available. As much as possible. Anything mental health related, if we can afford it, we're there.
Well, and that all comes from the sponsors. So I'm going to make the challenge that I've talked to you about making to people. Look, if you're not a sponsor of Pineapple Support, you should be a sponsor of Pineapple Support. And I don't care if you're a solo performer that does pretty well, or a company. If you're a company, you don't have an excuse. Okay, we're not a big company, and we're a sponsor. So everyone should be a sponsor. Everyone should be a sponsor in some way, shape, or form. Leya, do you ever stop and look at where this started and where it is now? It's got to be pretty amazing to you.
It is. I think it's been such a fast-moving train.
Yeah, whirlwind, sure.
I forget how big it is, and because it's been it'll be 4 years, 3 years, 4 years, 4 years in April, and the rate at which it's grown, particularly, during COVID, that really, the amount of people coming for therapy doubled, tripled And now we were having about 30 people a month requesting therapy. Now it's 180.
Wow.
And I'm just very, very grateful that we started when we did, because it put us in a position that we were financially able to continue providing the same level of support.
Right.
Obviously, we needed to go on a huge mission to collect some more donations and work with more sponsors. But the fact that we were able to do that was just incredible, and I'm very, very grateful to everyone that supports us and ensured that we could continue.
Absolutely.
But, no, it is.
Absolutely. Yeah. How has 2021 been for your organization?
Challenging, for sure. With the increase in people coming for therapy, we were having to look at ways in which we could continue doing what we were doing on a much much tighter budget.
Right.
So as I said, we did onboard a lot more sponsors, but not at the same ratio as we were taking on new clients.
Right.
So trying to think outside the box and figure out ways that we could provide as much support as possible with the money that we had. And at the end of 2020, beginning of 2021, we reached out to our therapists. We actually and to see if anyone could offer us reduced rates and help out. We've had a number of therapists that worked for a month, 2 months for free. They reduced their rates for us for a few months just to let us get us back on our feet. So it was a really big community effort with everyone involved in the organization. We've had some restructuring, so I'm now CEO, not president. Alison Bowden has taken over the president's role.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. No, we've had a lot of change. We closed down the UK charity, so it's all run from the US now, which makes much more sense. But yeah, there's been a lot happening internally, and at the same time having to shake things up a little bit to ensure that we could continue providing the resources that we are. And I think the other really challenging part of this is not having that one-on-one contact with the content creators, because when you're at the shows all the time and you've got the booths and you're going to the presentations, and obviously there's all these online events, but it gets a little bit much. There's only so many Zoom presentations you can watch. But trying to actually understand what the performers want and need. Yeah. And when if you're stuck in an office, you can look through Twitter, you can see what people are actually reaching out to tell you, but it's hard to actually gauge what's really happening in the industry when you are when you're stuck in a little white box.
Yeah, the shows are so important for everybody, and I would think for you guys more than anyone.
Yes, yeah, for all from all aspects. As when it comes to looking for sponsorships, I think it's very important. If someone's going to give a big chunk of money to an organization there are sponsor benefits, of course, but at the end of the day, you are giving money for nothing. You're giving it for a good cause. Right. You want to know that the person you're giving it to is a good person, a decent person. You want to get a feel for that person, and it's very hard to approach new sponsors when they haven't physically met you.
Yeah. You want to have a drink at the bar or maybe a meal and talk a little bit, have a meeting and have a chance to get to know each other on a personal level.
Exactly.
Yeah, I understand. And by the way, you mentioned Allie's involved now as president. That's amazing. She is an incredible lady. So congratulations on that. Maybe she might want to come on the podcast sometime. I'd love to have her on. You had a mental health summit recently. How did that go?
Oh, it was wonderful. I love the summits. We are able to. We're able to give so much information, and because this year we opened it up to sponsors, to multiple sponsors, we've managed to get a lot more promotion, a lot more people attending, and I know that the videos are now the recordings will be shared across multiple platforms, and
Great.
we'll have a much wider reach.
Awesome.
The video should be out very soon on our YouTube channel. They're all getting edited right now.
Fabulous. So what's planned for 2022?
Well, we had the in-person retreat in LA, which was fantastic. So it would be nice to do some more of those. More shows, more sponsors, continue doing what we're doing, really try and work on connecting with the content creators more. And we've just, we recently created a diversity committee, which we opened up to those in the industry to join. And that's been going wonderfully. So it'd be it's great to hear other people's voices,
Sure.
As a kind of middle class cisgender white woman, it's you can do all in your mind. You can do what you think is the correct thing, but you can't. It's impossible to know without other voices and without other opinions. So,
Sure.
So I'm really happy that that's moving forward, and we've got so much support there from within the industry and so many ideas coming through. So that's going to be a big focus for 2022 to make sure that we are as inclusive as possible. And travel some more, see people, get more involved.
Catch up on those hugs.
Yes, so many hugs.
Yes, indeed. I miss your hug. I definitely miss your hug. Let's talk a bit about your podcast. What message do you hope to provide through it?
So this podcast is done through a mainstream company. So the previous one was on Demon Seed Radio, which was fantastic. It was going out to people who, were specifically either in the industry or wanted to listen to an industry-focused podcast. Whereas this one is, with it being with a mainstream company, we're getting a completely different audience.
Interesting.
So with that in mind, the idea really is to humanize the industry, to take down some stigma, to show those who are tuning in that the porn industry, the adult industry, is a big business, very serious place to be, and just because there's tits and ass doesn't make it a viable business. And to rehumanize those that are working in front of the camera.
That's awesome. Now, how do you find your guests? I mean, I know you ran into me downtown. I was, down and out on Skid Row one night. But how do you find the rest of your guests?
Most of them are my friends.
In Skid Row?
Yeah. Most are friends, I shall admit. And then there are, we always reach out to our ambassadors and ask them if they want to get involved. And we people that have met along the way and maybe have contacted us through social media, not regarding therapy, because we wouldn't put anyone in that position. But there's a lot of people that have got in touch and say, I'd love to get involved with Pineapple Support. How can I be more involved? So I jot those names down as well. But it is mostly me ringing up friends saying, "Hey."
Yes, you did. Yes, you most certainly did. And I obviously have my my background with mental health issues. And let's face it, if you have mental health issues, it's a lifetime thing. And like bipolar disorder, which I have, and I'm on meds. I'll be on meds my entire life because of it. And as I said on your podcast, I'm a proud bipolar, and you should be. There's really nothing to hide. It's something that a high percentage of the population actually has, and it usually goes undiagnosed because it's usually like, oh, they're nuts. It's like, no, they just need some treatment. So anyway, but I'm nuts too.
A little bit nuts.
Yeah, to be in this industry, we all have to be just a bit nuts. So how do you choose your topics for the show?
we will either focus topics around what's going on at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's some, if there's something that is affecting the industry, then we'll focus on that.
Right.
Or Shelley and I will just sit down and have a think about what we feel needs to be discussed if we haven't covered that topic yet.
Yeah.
And then it's finding that balance between fun and talking about the hard stuff, because if every single week you're covering something that's tough to talk about and tough to listen to, then it can get a little bit much. So it's finding the balance between, okay, let's make this topic a little bit lighter. We can have a bit of a giggle. And then when we pick something that we know is going to be hard and the two of us are working out the questions, we're just going, oh no.
Hey, I can make a joke out of anything. I don't know if you ever heard the comedian Sam Kinison.
No.
Oh God, you got to Google him. He was funny, man. But Sam Kinison said, I can make a joke out of anything. He says, I was talking to a friend. He said, and he told him that, and he said, Sam, there's no way you can make a joke out of this. And he said, what? He said, I've got this article here about some homosexual necrophiliacs. And Sam goes, give me the article. And he does a routine on homosexual necrophiliacs, and he's on stage and he's laying down on, face down, and his ass is moving. And he's talking like he's a dead guy. So, like him, I can make a joke out of anything.
Yeah. I mean, you do need to keep it a little bit light and try and make it, But there are some topics, with sexual abuse and things like that you go, oh, okay, this is going to be a really hard one.
Yes, hard to make a joke out of that. That's true.
Yeah, when we're talking to people about suicide, those who are survivors of suicide, and listen to their stories. And Shelley being a therapist, she's very good at kind of disconnecting and asking the right questions. I'll be sat there kind of holding back tears or just crying. And before the podcast wasn't video recorded, and now it is, so I can't do that. I just focus here, switch off.
Sure.
Take off Shelley, please.
Bring the Kleenex. Is there anything that's out of bounds or that you just won't discuss?
I think as long as the guests are comfortable talking, then no. Not that I can really think of. I mean, we haven't done necrophilia.
That's probably a good idea.
But yeah, we've really had some hard-hitting topics.
Yes.
So because I do approach people that I know, because I feel more comfortable asking them if they're happy to talk about things that I'm aware of, they may not have talked about publicly, and then they can say yes or no to me, again, because I'm a friend and it's not in a
right.
So
something they've discussed with you, but you have to ask them if it's okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
I know you've experienced this. Would you be happy to talk about it on the podcast?
Yep.
And then sometimes we've had occasions where people have either just while we've been asking them questions, come up with things that they've forgotten that happened 30 years ago. And my God, that's why I do this. And it's almost like a therapy session.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's how it goes in therapy. Sure. Yeah,
and we had a guest on who had gone through a really, really hard time. And luckily had used our therapy services and said, we actually saved his life at that moment. That
wow.
He was, there was rape, there was a lot of drug use. There was, gone to some very dark places, which I didn't know about, and he hadn't spoken about publicly before, but really wanted to do so in order to help other people understand that they weren't on their own, and there was, however low you get, there's there's other people going through the same thing, and other people that have survived and gone through the other side.
Absolutely.
So it's great to give people that platform and provide the service.
Yeah, no, it really does. So I know this, but maybe the people out there don't. Would you consider your podcast more like an interview show or more like a discussion?
It really depends on
Mhm.
the guest. We do write questions out so that we can interview,
Yeah.
but if the guest is easier, some people it just flows with, and then it becomes more of a discussion, and that's the
Yeah,
idea.
and on ours, it was more like I was interviewing you.
Yeah, probably. Um, so it really depends on who we're talking to. It's I prefer it as a discussion. Um, but
Sure.
a lot of people, particularly when you're coming on and talking about something so personal, you do
Mhm.
need a little bit of coaxing.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. At least most people do. So talk about how you handle those tougher topics.
Shelley.
She's not here.
uh, it's hard because you want to go as deep as possible, but you really have to gauge how the person you're talking with is feeling. Because at the end of the day, this isn't a therapy session. This isn't behind closed doors. They're talking about something extremely personal
Mhm.
to hundreds of people, thousands of people.
Yeah,
So just find that balance to ensure that they are comfortable, and you're also managing to make it interesting.
yeah. No,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, it can be very it can be very hard, depending on the person you're speaking to and how open they are. It can be quite difficult to get that balance right.
Of course, that probably has probably that plays a lot into who you decide to interview, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So you guys have obviously grown to a large organization. I think bringing in a president like Ali and restructuring and doing some of the things you're doing kind of says a lot about that. Um, and you're working with a full remote team, like you said, all over the world, many countries, many languages. Talk about working with that full remote team and what does that entail on a daily basis?
It can be challenging in the sense that everyone's kind of out on their own and
Hmm.
everyone has completely different jobs. So, yes, there's communication via email and text, and we do have regular meetings with. So it's basically the core running the show.
Hmm.
Myself, Kelly, and Kirsty. So you've got three people that are running the day to day.
Hmm.
Kirsty does the therapy facilitation. Kelly does all of the finance, invoices, making sure that all the therapists have their licenses and insurance and compliance stuff up to date.
Hmm.
And then I have no idea what I do.
You do a lot.
Everything else, general dog's body, I think. Uh, it's great in the fact that everyone can run their own hours. Everyone's
Mhm.
got that nice flexibility. Um, Working with a therapist is we're close to 200 therapists now,
Yeah.
which has huge benefits
Hmm.
in how many options we have, how diverse also the resources. People, because there are therapists that specialize in so many different areas, and there are
Right.
so many different types of therapy,
Hmm.
and there are so many people that some are going to benefit from working with a therapist who's more kind of art focused. Some
Hmm.
need someone that's going to really challenge them, and it's great to be able to have have those options at our fingertips, basically.
Interesting.
But it's been, yeah, we were talking before about having that contact with the content creators, and I think that's the biggest challenge with working
Right.
so far removed from the US, really.
Yeah.
Um, it has its challenges, but I think the benefits far outweigh the challenges.
Sure. So, how excited are you now that we're back to a regular schedule of shows?
Oh, I'm really excited.
Me too.
I think it's going to change the frequency of travel.
Mhm.
2019, I attended something like 27 shows.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
Brad. Okay, Brad from Mojo Host.
but you get used to this routine of always being in an airport, always being on a flight, or
Yeah.
always being in a hotel, and having this 2 years off where established community at home, been working on the house, spending more time getting to know you when
Hmm.
you're not rushing. It's put into perspective, the important things in life. And I think moving forward, the 27 shows is not necessary.
No, it really isn't. I've never done that volume, but I agree with you.
I think it's important to make yourself known and establish yourself as an organization. Everyone needs to see you everywhere, but we've done that now.
Yes,
So
you got to
yeah,
pick your spots, I think.
yeah,
I
yeah.
got there a long time ago in terms of having to pick my spots. Well, plus we don't have the budget for 27 shows. I'll just come out and say that. But at the same time, it's just unnecessary. And what I found, during the pandemic was my business went way up because I just had a lot more time to work. I had a lot more time in the office, and I wasn't on trips, in airports, not to the extent of you, but your next trip's always coming up and you're always doing some planning and that takes time. And I was just, dug in on, what I needed to do for my business. And then the podcast is part of that, actually.
Yeah, I think you are absolutely right. We were in a fabulous position where a lot of the shows obviously covered our tickets, cover our hotel rooms.
Sure.
So paying for a flight, the benefits outweigh. You
Yeah.
spend what, like 500 on a flight, provided you get one sponsor, it's covered,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you manage
Absolutely.
to show your face.
Absolutely. Yeah, I want that deal. I want that deal. I'll see if I can get some sponsors. So how can people help or get involved with Pineapple Sport?
Oh, there are loads of different ways. Loads and loads
Tell
of
me,
different ways.
please
You
tell me.
can, obviously, you can volunteer as a listener. So that was I talked about that earlier in the show, where you can reach out to somebody at any time, and these people are volunteers. You get a free training course in active listening, and then once you've completed that course, there's like another 50 courses that you can take as and when you please on different aspects of mental health. So
Wow.
ADHD, depression, addiction. You can take the courses that interest you and just make yourself available as and when you feel like it.
Hmm.
So that's one way. We have now set up a membership scheme called Pineapples United,
Mhm.
and that's for individuals who don't just want to donate, because it's great to throw a bit of money at something, and we need that money and we hugely appreciate it. But what we also want to hear is what people want, what people need. So Pineapples United is for those who are working in the industry who would like to donate regularly. It starts at I think $10 a month. With that membership, you are invited to join us for regular meetings with Pineapple board members and
Hmm.
actually discuss what you think we should be doing, how
That's
you think
awesome.
we can improve. And it's been fantastic so far. We've had a great response, and I really love having that involvement from the community.
Sure.
It's been wonderful. And obviously, sponsor,
Yes.
donate in any way. We've got, if you can't afford one of the big sponsorships, we always have events coming, and if you're interested in sponsoring an event, let me know and I can add you to the mailing list for that. The event sponsorships are usually between 500 and 750. Tweet and chat, and if you see someone that you think is struggling, please tag us so that
Hmm.
we can reach out to them personally. And just look out for the community. Be nice to each other.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, don't slam people on the boards. You never know what kind of a day they've had.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everyone's got their own shit going on.
And of course, they can just plain donate any amount, right?
Yeah, absolutely. At any time, you can, hold a fundraiser on Facebook, or
There you go.
or add us on your Amazon. You can select a charity through Amazon Smile. Where we're on there. That means every time you make a purchase, something like 1% goes to Pineapple Support. But do you know
really?
what? If hundreds, thousands, if lots of people do that, then that's going to that money adds up, and it costs you absolutely nothing.
There you go. Sounds good. So how can someone find you? That's if you want them to find you.
The website is pineapplesupport.org. You can reach us on Twitter and on Instagram at pineappleYSW, which stands for Your Safe Word. And we are also on Facebook, which is pineapple.yoursafeword.
That's awesome. Leya, I'd like to thank you for being our guest again today on Adult Site Broker Talk. And I know we'll get a chance to get another update from you real soon. My broker tip today is part 3 of how to buy a website. Last week, we talked about finding the right site to buy. Once you find it, what do? Once you've either reached the broker of the site or the seller, review the information about the site. The broker should provide you with the following: a profit and loss statement of at least 3 years that's up to date. If it's June and they give you financials only through the end of the previous year, you need to see what the site is doing now, not last year. If it's a pay site, get a username and password for the site so that you can review the content. Ask how often the site is updated. Get some history on the site, how long it's been in business, the story behind the site, and why the seller wants to sell it. Get an inventory of the content and how much of it has current technologies like 4K. Find out if all the content is exclusive to that site. Ask the seller if the content has ever been on VOD or DVD. See if there are any clip stores the content is on. Find out how much the content costs to produce and what the current cost of production is. Very importantly, see if this operation can run without the owner. Do they do the shooting themselves or do they hire someone to do it? And if there is an outside producer, will that person continue to provide content for the site? Find out how many new joins and rebuilds there are a day. Ask them what is the retention rate on the site. And find out if they do advertising on the site and where they get their traffic. Ask for Google Analytics access so you can see where the traffic comes from. This information will give you the opportunity to truly evaluate what it is you're buying. Then, if everything looks good to you and you want the site, it's time to make an offer. Only you can decide what the site is worth to you. If you're working with a broker, such as, let's say Adult Site Broker, of course your broker can help you determine the value of the site. We'll talk about this subject more next week. And next week we'll be speaking with Alex LeConte of Seven Veils. And that's it for this week's Adult Site Broker Talk. I'd once again like to thank my guest, Leya Tanit of Pineapple Support. Talk to you again next week on Adult Site Broker Talk. I'm Bruce Friedman.